Your Google business profile is probably one of the most powerful tools you have online for getting the folks you want to get in touch with you to actually see you online and then reach out to you. And yet it seems like the most complicated thing in the world, and it's not. We're going to talk about that for a second. Hey there, how you doing? It's Chris, your friendly neighborhood internet Sherpa, back again with another one of those tips on how to bring bodies to the door, put cheeks in the seats, and of course, build your list. I got an email because I'm on other people's email list, as you may imagine, and the person who sent me the email was promoting their software. And you know me, I'm all about, software. Does it really do what you're trying to tell me to do or what? So I did that thing where I go, okay, I see what you're saying and I see what you're selling. Where's the difference between the goodness in what you're saying and the hype in what you're selling? So I did a little bit of analysis, and it was about the Google business profile. And don't get me wrong, the software that they were selling, it's good. It does what it's supposed to do. I don't need it, but it's still a good piece of software. But I was thinking about that email that was going out to so many different people who don't have the insight that I personally have. And I was like, this is an interesting pitch. And then I started to dig, and I was like, okay, well, do people really need this? Kind of yes, kind of no. So let me break it down for you. If you go to anyone who's got any kind of advice to give you about your Google business profile, I can guarantee you the first thing that you're going to hear is that you need to make sure that your Google business profile is fully filled out, to make sure that your information there, all the different places that you can put any kind of input, your hours, your services, your business description, all that information, fill that bad boy out as much as possible. And when it comes to the images, they give you several different types of images that you can fill out. So there's images, or you can add images such as your location, where you're doing what you do, internal, external, pictures of your staff, that kind of thing. Fill that bad boy out. You got Q&As, you got posts that you can do. There's a bunch of stuff you can do on your Google business profile. But the bottom line is, make sure you fill that bad boy out completely. And then usually after that, you don't hear much. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know that people can reach out to you. You know that Google is doing a thing where they want to have it set up where anything that people need to know about your business, for the most part, they can get at your Google business profile. Don't need to click through to your website. And that's cool. But one of the things that there's like a break between what you're being told and what you're not being told is, how do you make that thing work for you? What is it that Google's looking for that makes them go, cool, you're the one. Let's stick you in front of other people. Well, the part that I find interesting is there's an entire industry out there of people who optimize Google business profiles. And I'm not going to say that what they're saying to you and what they're selling is disingenuous, because it is not. It's just, imagine someone having a conversation with you and there's a whole section of conversation that they need to be having over here that they just don't say. That's kind of what happens in that particular niche. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say wasted. I call it paying tuition. I've paid quite a bit of tuition when I thought that maybe I would want to walk into that space. But I have this thing when I find out that to be successful in a particular marketing space, you have to not say some stuff. You have to present information in a way that has even a little bit of spin on it. That's where I go, yeah, I have a hard time with that. And that's probably gotten in my way a little bit, but oh well, it is what it is. Still standing, still moving forward. So let's break it down, this thing called the Google Business Profile, so you can understand what it is in a practical way, so you can understand how to use it in a practical way to get done what you need to do. So let's start with how Google looks at it. And this is the world according to Chris. So this may not jive necessarily with what you're going to hear in other places. So this is what I refer to as large grain of salt time. So take heed and govern yourself accordingly. What may follow may fall into the category of bovine scatophilia. In other words, you may not believe it's true. So, hefty dose of skepticism, if you will. At the end of the day, Google's a business, period. They trade on information. No, excuse me. They trade on attention. They make trillions of dollars on attention. They weren't the first movers in the market a decade or so ago. Well, actually more than a decade at this point, really. But they carved out a niche where most of the traffic on the website for people who want to find out stuff goes through Google. And they're working their butts off to make sure that whenever the new hotness shows up, they're positioned to make sure that they are still have the position of primacy and all that. I feel I'm getting long-winded, so let me narrow this down. Let me speed this up a little bit. They trade on attention. So their business model is all about making sure that if somebody wants to know something, they go to Google for it. That's why they've got Google Gemini, because they didn't want to let AI, pass them by. It's like, whoa, that's a new hotness. Let me get out in front of it. And because people already go to Google, the fact that they slap their AI all over that thing means that they, by definition, automatically have an in. They're right on top. They're right on top of things. So they're a little bit of a gatekeeper type situation, or they have a little bit of a gatekeeper type situation going on there, which if you Google, not bad. I mean, all you got to do is maintain it. What's that mean to you? What that means is that Google needs I'm doing that thing. Talking fast, thinking faster. You slow it down. Google needs to be part of the mix. And that's like, duh, no kidding. But specifically your Google business profile. And the reason your Google business profile needs to be part of the mix is because it's probably in your best interest to make sure Google has a really good understanding of who you are, what you do, and who you're trying to serve. Not a kind of an understanding, but a really good understanding. And understanding Google's not that bright. I mean, the people running it, gotta give them credit. They're probably pretty smart. But as an entity, as an algorithm, and that's what we're talking about is the algorithm, it's not that bright. It just deals with inputs, garbage in, garbage out, goodness in, goodness out. That's how it works. So what is it looking for? How does it decide you're more worthy than the people standing next to you who are doing the exact same thing? It goes by inputs, what it sees. And the thing I want you to understand is when people tell you to fill out your Google business profile completely, you're filling it out for two entities. One, you're filling it out for the people that you want to do business with, which is a no-brainer. The other entity you're filling that out for is Google. I mean, this is the classic way where you can go to Google, say, hey, Google, this is what I do. Here's the people I want you to put in front of me. Here's where I do what I do. Google has a form online called the Google Business Profile that says, tell me what you want me to know about you. Duh. And yet so many people just don't use that tool for what it's supposed to be used for, having that communication. So when people give you that advice, it is sound advice, but it's not the complete picture. After you fill that bad boy out, assuming that you're one of the handful of people comparatively to all the people that use it who actually fill out your Google business profile, then what? Well, it really breaks down to one thing and one thing only: activity. Making sure stuff happens on your Google business profile. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because this is where that group of people who are making money or trying to make money on the, hey, we will optimize your Google business profile, we will maintain your Google business profile. Here's where they play with the truth a little bit, in my opinion. Google does not evaluate what you put on there. Like, for instance, if you put an article on your Google business profile, it doesn't look at that article and go, ooh, that's a quality article. It's better than their article. I'm going to put you higher. It's not an SEO thing like that. What it sees is that you put content on your Google business profile, your business your Google business profile has activity. It's not just sitting there dormant. Think about it. If just in this one thought, if you have 10 people, if you're Google and there's 10 businesses, all the same, that have a Google business profile that's fully filled out, but one of those businesses, every time you go back to it, every week, every month or something to that effect, you see activity going on there. You see them adding stuff to the profile. You're like, I'm not sure what's going on over there, but something over there is worth paying attention to. Now, that's a technical way for me to say that. So, if I get a little too technical for you, just, bear with me. But it's the activity that Google pays attention to. It's a signal to Google. And what you're trying to do on a regular basis is send all the signals to Google that say, hey, greater amongst equals. Send some folks my way. Now, I will tell you the most powerful signal that you can send to Google happens to be over there on that review side of the house. Because you remember, let's see, what was that term that I used? Free range content. Yeah. Free range content is the content that is about your business that you don't write. And reviews are the most powerful free range content online because Google only has a whole handful of ways of figuring out whether the people who do business with you think you're worth a darn. And one of the most important way, the most powerful way is with your reviews. So this is not going to get into a conversation about you should go get reviews because by this time, if you don't get that, me saying it again is not going to help you, but you should. But the question is, if that's one of the activities that you can put on your website, what are the other activities you can put on your website? And there's quite a few, actually. So if you actually wander in there and dabble around, first of all, you can slap images up there. You can put videos up there. You can add posts, which my service Client Connect helps you do. You can do Q&As until they make Q&As go away, because I've heard it's going away, but it's still there for right now. But it's another way for you to add content. And remember, the point I'm trying to make is it's not so big a thing that you put content that will help you for SEO purposes. It's that you're putting content that, one, shows activity, and two, people can interact with. Because if you put good content on your Google business profile and people find it and they take a second or two to look at it, don't think that Google doesn't notice that. Google ain't got nothing better to do to sit around and analyze what goes on its own platform. So you want activity. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be, honest and think you're probably busy. So unless you're doing Client Connect and you have a system that's really easy for you to crank out content and slap it on your website, your Google business profile, your socials on a regular basis, then this is a, kind of a, what's that phrase I like to use? A bridge too far. It's like, sounds good, Bruce, well, makes a great PowerPoint slide, but nah, it ain't happening. But something that's ridiculously easy to do that you can do without any effort whatsoever? You can take pictures and put those on your Google business profile. You can take videos and put those on your Google business profile. And you're like, that sounds like a lot of production. No one said anything about production. They said put videos and put images on your Google business profile. You got a smartphone, don't you? It's got a camera on it, doesn't it? You can take a picture, can't you? And take a picture and put it up on your Google business profile. Just do it once a week. I will tell you, I'm actually adding that to my game plan. So if you keep coming back to my Google business profile, and you should, because there's goodness over there, you're going to see that there's times where I just put pictures of me doing what I do. And it was funny, when I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, there's some businesses that are what I refer to as photogenic, meaning that it's easy to figure out what to take a picture of. Like if you're a hairstylist, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can just sit there all day, all darn day, and take pictures of your work. You don't even have to have the face of your clients. Just take a back shot of their, the work that you did on their hair. You can take pictures of you in between clients, you getting your work ready, getting your workstation ready, you talking about products. There's all kinds of things that lend themselves, if you're a hairstylist, to taking a picture. But I was like, well, what if you're not a hairstylist, or you don't have a gig that's photogenic? Like, what if you're a massage therapist? Massage therapy, yeah, you could take pictures, again, of you doing technique and all that, but there might be a whole bunch of people, depending on how you rock your massages, that don't necessarily want to be seen on your videos. But you can still take plenty of pictures of you at work, you preparing, you having a conversation. There's a ton of different things. As a matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do, just because I don't want to stretch this out, I'm going to put in the show notes or in the description a list of examples of things that you can take pictures of repeatedly that are easy peasy lemon squeezy, even if you have a non-photogenic type gig. So if you're an esthetician, and estheticians, you can show skin, so that's a thing. Well, depending on what thing your esthetician gig does, because estheticians tend to have a wide palette of things that they services that they offer. But if you're a naturopath, that's like, what do I take a picture of my naturopath? Get with me, or should I say, check out that little download, and it's going to be a free download. I'm not even going to put a friggin' you have to sign up for it. Just click, boom, you'll have it, because we're nice like that. But if all you do is add one picture, one video every single week, just do it on a Saturday, do it on a Friday, do it on the day when you're in the middle of doing something, and just go, oh, click, knock it, upload, boom, done. What you've done is you've added activity to your Google business profile. And that is a signal to Google that most of your competitors aren't doing. And you may be saying, is that a thing? Is that a big thing? Yeah, it's a big thing, because you're speaking to an algorithm and you're giving it something to pay attention to. The tool is there. Use it. Period. If you don't want to crank out an article and throw it up there, you don't want to keep updating your Q&As, at the very, very, very least, slap a picture up there. Slap a new picture up there. Even if you don't put a caption on it, you're doing something inside your Google business profile. Because at the end of the day, there's a algorithm that does a whole bunch of math. It pulls in a whole bunch of inputs and goes 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. And 3 is this business over here. Well, if you don't put in the right, you don't put in different inputs, send it the right signals, you don't get 1 + 1 + 1. You get 1 + 1, and there's no extra 1. Hopefully you understand that's real simplification, but that's my point. This ain't complicated stuff. Give Google what it needs to do what you need it to do. That's pretty much it. Put activity on your stuff. And if you got time, put some content up there that tells the world about what you do. You'd be surprised. That Google business profile, it ain't nothing. And if you're not using it, that's a wasted opportunity. Huge. All right. One other thing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I mentioned Client Connect. You can check that out if you're interested in it. I'm going to bounce for right now. If you've got any questions about that, hit me up on the voicemail line, 702-582-6708, or send me an email at C2, not an email. Get on my list so we can kick the Willy Boba. Oh, no, you can send me an email. Support at c2local.io. And whatever. However you want to get at me, get at me. I'll be here. I'll holler at you later. Bye.